My name is Adrienne Foley, and I need to tell you something that took me 6 months, my dream job, and a $70 nanny cam to finally understand. I set up that camera in my living room on a Thursday morning. I was gone 4 hours. And what I heard my mother say into that phone when she thought no one was watching, it changed my entire life. I had quit my dream job. I had drained my savings. I had moved back into my childhood bedroom at 32 years old. All because I believed my mother was dying. She wasn't dying. She was lying. And she had been lying for 6 months. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. Grew up in a split level on the east side. Just me, my younger brother Terrence, and our mom, Diane. My dad left when I was 11, which meant Diane became everything. Provider, disciplinarian, the whole operation. And she was good at it. She kept the lights on, kept us fed, showed up. But if you grew up with a parent who used guilt the way a contractor uses a hammer, constantly, confidently for every situation, whether it fit or not, then you already know exactly the kind of household I'm describing. By the time I was 32, I had spent my entire adult life managing Diane's emergencies. Her back pain that flared up whenever I had plans. Her anxiety that spiked whenever I mentioned a new opportunity. Her loneliness that somehow always peaked right around the time. I was about to do something good for myself. I had normalized it so completely that I didn't even see the pattern until I was sitting in a therapist's office in German village trying to explain why I felt responsible for another grown adult's entire emotional ecosystem. But nothing could have prepared me for what she did when I finally got the job offer. I had been working toward for 4 years. Regional director at a healthcare nonprofit. Real leadership. Meaningful work. Better salary. I accepted on a Friday. Called my mom that same evening to share the news. She said, "That's nice, baby," in a voice that was already somewhere else entirely. 3 weeks later, she called me crying. Said she'd been to the doctor. Said they found something. Said she was scared, and she didn't want to do this alone, and Terrence, her words, not mine, though not inaccurate, was useless. I asked what they found. She got vague. More tests needed. Doctors still figuring it out. She just knew something was really wrong this time. And here is where I need to ask you something honestly. Because if you've been in this position, you know how impossible it feels. What do you do when your mother tells you she might be sick? You don't demand proof. You show up. That's what you do. So I drove to her house that Sunday. She was in her robe on the couch, looking pale and tired and small in a way that cracked something open in my chest. And I made the decision I had been conditioned my entire life to make. I called my new job Monday morning, deferred my start date, then deferred it again, then resigned. I moved back into my childhood bedroom at 32 years old. And Diane's mysterious illness somehow never got any worse, or any better. It just stayed exactly sick enough to need me there. But after about 6 weeks, something started to feel very, very off. And once I saw it, I could not unsee it. Diane never looked sick at the doctor's office. Tired, sure. But tired like someone who hadn't been sleeping well. Not like someone whose body was actually fighting something serious. Her color was fine. Her appetite was fine. The woman was putting away her usual Tuesday meatloaf without any problem whatsoever. When I wasn't home, she called me every 2 hours. When I was home, she was completely fine. Watching her shows, laughing at stuff on Facebook. The moment I mentioned picking up freelance work, she had a bad night. Chest felt tight. Needed me to sit with her until 2 a.m. I want to pause here because I know some of you are already connecting the dots. And some of you are also feeling that guilt. That little voice saying, "But what if she really is sick and you're being terrible?" I felt that too. That voice is exactly what she was counting on. Then my friend Keisha, a nurse who does not sugarcoat a single thing for anybody, came over for dinner one evening in month 3. Afterward, in my car, she looked at me and said, "Adrienne, I've been watching your mama all night. What exactly is she supposed to have? I listed the vague symptoms Diane had given me. Keisha was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Has she actually shown you any paperwork? Any test results? Anything in writing at all?" I opened my mouth, and then I closed it. She had not shown me one single document. That night I went home, opened my laptop, and ordered a nanny cam. And what it captured 4 days later: "I want you to stay with me, because it is worse than you're imagining." Small camera, looked like a phone charger, designed to blend in. I set it up in the living room on a Thursday morning before I went to run errands. I was gone 4 hours. When I came back, I went straight to my room, pulled up the footage on my phone, and there was Diane. No robe, regular clothes, hair done, jewelry on. She was on the phone, voice clear and strong, laughing loud enough that the camera picked up every single word. She said, "Dog, girl, she ain't going nowhere." I told her the doctor's still running tests and she believed every bit of it. I just gotta keep it going another few months until she gives up on that job for good. I sat on the edge of my bed, and I watched it 3 times. 6 months. I had given up 6 months of my life, my career, my savings, my bedroom, and for a performance. I picked up my phone and I called my old hiring manager, the one who had offered me the regional director role, the one who had been kind enough to accept my resignation with grace and tell me the door was always open. I said, "Hey, this is Adrienne Foley. I don't know if that position has been filled yet, but I need to tell you something. I made a mistake, and I'm ready to fix it." She called me back within the hour. I started 3 weeks later. And Diane? She made a miraculous recovery the same week I stopped coming around. Funny how that works. Here is what I want you to take away from this, because this isn't just my story. Guilt is not love. Obligation is not loyalty. And if the people in your life who claim to love you only seem to get better the moment you stop sacrificing yourself, then that right there is the only diagnosis you ever actually needed. You are not responsible for managing another adult's emotions. You are not selfish for having a career. You are not a bad child for having a life. And the fact that someone taught you to believe otherwise, that is the real illness in this story. If any part of this story felt familiar, if you've ever had someone use guilt, illness, or obligation to keep you small, I want to hear from you. Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. And you would not believe how many people have a version of this story sitting inside them. And if you know someone who needs to hear this right now, a friend who keeps canceling their life for someone who doesn't deserve it, please share this video with them. It might be exactly what they need today. I'll see you in the next one.